Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast. This is a Brew Crew short, episode 32. Our last short was actually on the 23rd of August, almost 4 months ago. So, wow, that it's been 4 months since we got around to doing another one of these. And I can confidently say that I am not going to meet my goal. I think earlier this year I said I wanted to do 35 of these personally, and I think I'm going to fall short by almost 20 on that one, but we'll see how the next couple of weeks go. Maybe I get really ambitious the next couple of weeks. But thank you for clicking and watching this video. Today we're going to do Oskar Blues 1050 Imperial Stout. It's the barrel aged, and this one is canned in 2017 because that's important in this series. I'm not going to go too much into the Oskar Blues history because we did cover that on episode 89 of the Brew Crew podcast, and that was recorded back in June. So that was a Cobra Light episode, so I'm sure that to fill that space that I gave a pretty good history on Oskar Blues. But more about this. This is going to be coming out of a stovepipe, and when I crack it, because it being an Imperial Stout, I kind of want to see what it has to offer. With it being a stovepipe, it comes in at 19.2 ounces, so it's an odd variance. You don't see a lot of stovepipe cans. Typically, they go from the pint, 16 ounces, to like a bomber at 22, to like a 175 if you're going more of a sour type beer. And this beer chimes in at since it's the 2017 edition, been holding on to it for a little bit, it's 12.9. How I got this beer was our local Beer Geeks group. There was an individual that was selling out and was selling all these random boxes, I think 20. So I just threw my name into the hat, and this came into that random box. So I just bought this last summer. Been sitting on it for a while. As you know, as a loyal Chuggalo, we don't drink as stouts, or especially Imperial Stouts, as much on the podcast, but with it being, the Christmas time, today it's the 19th of December when I'm recording this. Hopefully I'm not shaking the can too much, but that would be explosive. But it's nice to share one of these, or, eventually get to it myself. So I thought that this was ripe for the pickings to do for a short today. You may know Oskar Blues from Dale's Pale Ale. That's like their flagship pale ale. I would refer to it kind of as the shelf turd. No disrespect to Oskar Blues. That's just what I call like beers that are always available wherever you're going to go. It almost blends in so much that it doesn't look craft, that it looks like one of the big guys, like your Budweiser or your Miller or your Busch, where it's always available, but it would still be considered a craft beer, as Oskar Blues didn't get their start till 1997. And they're all over. They've got tap rooms or tasting rooms all over the country, but they got their start in Colorado. Right now, they're in the news, or they're famous. They've got, and we talked about it on the podcast, they did a French's mustard beer. So you can Google yourself right on that one, but it's just a yellow can. But let's go with the crack. Oh, very, very caramely foam. So I'm just going to drink this out of a short glass. I know not appropriate glassware, but I just wanted to be able to let it breathe. I had this out for about 20 minutes before, so I don't think it's come to temperature. Wow, I don't know if my lighting is going to do this justice. So it's a unique head flavor, but look at that head on it. Maybe that's for me. And then, your motor oil, or what you would see in Imperial Stout. The head is all like a burnt sugar, rich chocolate, and definitely that stout is 90% of the nose. This is delightful and warming all at the same time. This is quite the fantastic beer. All of those noses that I'm saying, where you get something burnt, but then also rich. So the burnt sugar, rich chocolate, a little bit of caramel, the smoothness to hide that booze a little bit. It doesn't amp up like some Imperial Stouts would do. The booze, it hides it very well, but not behind any gimmicks. The caramel, the bourbon, the sugar, the chocolate, everything is what you expect to be here. There's no outliers. Continued persistence, on the beer reveals vanilla. very familiar with vanilla today. I made my first batch of eggnog ever, so I wanted to do homemade. So my wife was cracking my eggs for me because you just need the egg yolks in eggnog and then save the egg whites. So she's much better at that than I am. And so made a double batch, so 3 cups of milk and 12 eggs, so just to make it a little bit more thicker, a little bit more viscosity. And it really, when you're making all that, speaking of the eggnog, this is delightful. I'm just letting this coat the palate and cover all of my senses. But back to the eggnog, it doesn't make as much as you think it would, which is really interesting. Wow, this is quite good. I'm gonna have to pour myself more. So yeah, and it pours completely like motor oil. Again, I don't know if I can barely see through it when I have like a white screen up behind it. But yeah, it keeps that head almost like a Guinness, which is really nice. So I know this, reading some of what the pundits and people that know way more than what I do about beer tasting, they always say a complexity. I think the complexity is in how they balanced it. This is a wonderfully balanced beer. They've been making this 1050 series for over 10 years. I think in 2007, my research said that so this is something that they've been able to toy with because that's how you're able to tell the markers because the age isn't on the can. So, sorry, Stacy, you're able to tell by the ABVs because the ABVs change year to year as they perfect this recipe and either change it up and, I could only postulate what the brewmasters are doing, but this is fantastic. And the best part is it actually comes in hoppier. So this has got a 82 IBUs, so you're comfortably in that hoppier pale ale IPA realm. So a nice body to it, a nice sharpness that you get from your IPAs is presented in this instead of being more of like a dullard, just a dull beer, dull tones. Everything is amped up. The highs are higher. Definitely a rigid or a peaking beer. But excellent. Off the top rope, man, I give this a 4.5. This is delightful. This is definitely a one-off. With it coming in this delightful stovepipe can. Not too much to offer as far as the artwork. Gray and black sculling. This dog will hunt. That's not going to show up very well, and I apologize for that. But on the top it says cross-eyed, cyclopean, and canucupescent. Ooh, canucupescent. Don't know that word. Half-baked, fully roasted ale. This is fantastic. But yeah, off the top rope, this is a 4.5. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks I get to a couple more of these, but I mean, honestly, I said that I was going to do 35 this year, so we'll give her a go here at the end. But yeah, so 1050 Imperial Stout, barrel-aged Imperial Stout, 2017. Fantastic. If you find this in your cellar or find it out on the shelves, make sure you give her a shot. Cheers.